That, my friends, is the Dropkick Murphys singing I'm Shipping Up to Boston. And that was a terrible Irish accent, so I'm not going to do that anymore. So this happens to be my my St. Patrick's Day 2018 song this year. I always tend to find one that I, whatever reason, leading up to St. Patrick's Day, I gleam on a song and I play it over and over and over again because I like it. And I've been trying to find that one for a while because they used it in the Samuel Adams beer commercials, and they also used it in a couple sequences for the there was a show called Beverage that came out a few years ago, and there was a season where they were moving to Boston, and for the ads for the upcoming season, they used that song, I'm Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys, which I just played for you up there. So now, why did I play that? Well, gee, obviously. Why am I dressed like this? Why? I don't know. I cannot imagine why, because it is live on Saturday, March 17th, 2018. Now, what is March 17th? March 17th happens to be a holiday called St. Patrick's Day, obviously. Duh. I mean, I don't know why I was being moronic about stuff like that, but that's what it was. Oh, excuse me. Drinking some nice Harp beer. Oh, man, this is good stuff. Harp Premium. Those who don't know, Harp is made by the same people who made Guinness. And I'm not a big Guinness fan just because I'm not a big dark beer fan. But Harp is a lager, and it's really, really good, actually. Now, Guinness made a golden lager, which I saw today. I was like, yeah, maybe I should try that. I was like, nah, I'll stick with my Harp, because I always tend to do Harp on St. Patrick's Day anyway. It's really the only thing I do nowadays. I mean, I'm a holiday guy, and I'll talk a little bit more about that because it is St. Patrick's Day, so obviously I am going to talk about it, and obviously I'm doing a solo show, so I'll be talking a lot about it. But I'll be talking about other holidays as well, because for those who know me or those who might not know me, I am a huge holiday guy. I always have been. My email address is holidaydill, so I have an idea for a holiday store. It's not the idea that's forefront of my mind. I'm still trying to work on my coffee house, but I am starting to actually take it seriously and looking up pricing and stuff like that for the coffee house. But anyway, I'm not that it's not that unexpected. I have 0 viewers. I tend not to have many viewers anyway, but I figure also 9:30 on St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, most people are out at a bar drinking, or at a restaurant where they have Irish stuff going on, or they're having their own personal parties, stuff like that. Because, to be honest, in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is not as big of a deal as it is in the United States. Now, the reason why it's a big deal in the United States is because the Irish immigrants who came to America, they were lonely for their country. Yes, they wanted to get away from oppression and poverty and stuff like that and get to America, which was at the time the land of opportunity. But they were lonely, and a lot of the Irish people were getting discriminated against when they moved up to various parts of New York and obviously Boston and stuff like that. And so pockets of these Irish immigrants would create their own neighborhoods. Like there's Chinatown in San Francisco and New York and pretty much any place really there's a Chinatown. There's Irish Town also in most of these places as well, and most of the people there were Irish descent. And that was one of the things that they remembered from their childhoods or whatever, was the celebration of St. Patrick's, and they started celebrating it on their own. But then obviously as word spread and they started intermingling with other races and Germans and Italians and blacks and other whites and English and so on and so forth, they began to spread the holiday around till nowadays you get parades. This is still not the biggest drinking night of the year. Believe it or not, it's probably the biggest holiday drinking night of the year, but the biggest drinking night of the year ever, including holidays and regular days, is actually the day before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. The main reason why is because Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. So a lot of people take that Friday off, so they have a 4-day weekend. Or if they don't, they still have Thursday to recover, and then they have to go back to work on Friday, and then they have the weekend. Or in a lot of cases also, college kids are coming back home for the holiday, and they're going out and hanging out with their friends at bars. Why not? That's where you go. You go to hang out and reconnect with your friends, and the best place to do it is at a bar. Why not? You're also going out cruising for chicks or guys or whatever, so you want to hang out with your friends to do that as well. And then there's also people who don't really see their families all that much, and they are obligated to see them on Thanksgiving, even though they don't want to. So they're drinking to kill the pain on that. So Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving, is the biggest drinking night of the year, even bigger than New Year's Eve, even bigger than St. Patrick's Day, even bigger than Cinco de Mayo, even bigger than Halloween also. But St. Patrick's Day is up there. There are Irish restaurants all over the place. There's one up in Hunt Valley, which has been having like a week's worth of leading up to St. Patrick's Day stuff. So since like last Saturday, they've been doing all kinds of events, and it's a restaurant bar, so you get both. They've gotten lots of bands, and they take over a portion of their parking lot because they have to expand it. They get so many people. So the parking ends up filtering out into the neighborhoods, which I could only imagine is terrible for the people who live there. But they must not complain too much because it's still going on. Or they've worked out some sort of deal. I'm not sure. But at one point, the mayor and then Mayor of Baltimore and then the governor of Baltimore, Governor Martin O'Malley, he's in an Irish band, and they had him at this event every year, and they probably had him this year too. But as I said, it's not always on St. Patrick's Day. In this case, it did a lead up to St. Patrick's Day. They also do a 1 year to St. Patrick's Day and a 6 months to St. Patrick's Day events and stuff like that. It's an Irish restaurant pub, so of course they're going to really glean on that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's the Bill Bateman's, which is the restaurant bar that we go to. It has a St. Patrick's Day event going on today. Even though they're not an Irish pub bar, they are a bar, so you can go hang out and drink and stuff like that. I think theirs started like 11 a.m. Guinness was like $1. So if you wanted to buy Guinness, you'd get it for $1, and then it went up in price incrementally, maybe 10 cents, 20 cents every hour till it reached the pinnacle about, I guess, 6 o'clock of like $3 a beer or something like that. So you could have been there at 11 a.m. and getting wasted drinking Guinness all day, and they were going to have a menu for Irish food and stuff like that. So St. Patrick's Day is one of those kind of weird holidays because I'm not Irish, I'm German, but I'm also a holiday guy, so I enjoy dressing up in the garb. Got my new T-shirt, World's Tallest Leprechaun. I also got one that was Dilly Dilly. It's the same green and has the same four-leaf clover on it, but it's above the Dilly Dilly. The main reason I get that is it's not because I like the Dilly Dilly Bud Light stuff. It's kind of silly, but because my cousin and my aunt used to call me Dilly, so I've got two Dilly Dilly shirts. You've seen my navy one before. I've worn it on the show. And I wore my green one most of the day today, but I wanted to wear this one today because I'm wearing my garb, my hat, and my beard. I've had this forever, and I'll show you my new haircut. I got a new haircut. You can't see it right now, though. I will show it to the end of the show. So something to reveal at the end of the show. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we'll delve a little bit more into St. Patrick's Day and other holidays as well, talking about ways to celebrate. We will talk about holidays again. In Check I Day, I will go over my weekly, what holidays are going on this week and last couple of days and stuff like that. Hell, we had a whole bunch of them this week. The name of my episode is The Ides of St. Patrick's Pie Madness. The Ides of March, St. Patrick's Day, Pie Day, and March Madness all happen on the same day. And, I should have thrown spring break in there as well. Because for a lot of people, for colleges, spring break is going on. I originally was going to call the episode Irish Spring Break. I wrote a column for my college newspaper called Irish Spring Break once. But I think I used that title on a previous St. Patrick's Day episode because I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. Obviously, episode 234. So, I have 233 previous episodes that I've worked on personally. So I've been in every single one of them, too. There's actually more than that also, because my wife, when I first started these shows, my wife had her own show for about 3 episodes, and then she's just like, I can't do it. I was like, that's cool, it's fine. I gave it a chance, and she ran with it for a while, and it was neat. It was a fun little show, but it only lasted 3 episodes, so oh well. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking a little bit about March Madness, because I do a grid, or what do you call those? I fill out God damn, this beer is killing my brain cells. The NCAA tournament bracket. That's the word. I fill out a bracket every year. This year was the first year at work we didn't have one, because the guy who ran the bracket at work, he passed away late last year, I think. So he's the guy who knew how to do the scoring and stuff like that. And you know what? In the end, I'm kind of glad he didn't, because of what the hell has been going on with the NCAA tournament this weekend. It's been amazing. For those who like the basketball or get freaked out or want like drama in their basketball, you should be watching the NCAA tournament. Hell, you might be watching now, so I also might not have 0 viewers also, because it also happens to fall on St. Patrick's Day. It does every year. March Madness falls on St. Patrick's Day. So that's the only bad thing about this, is that this hair from all these, this fake beard is just, so we get to talk about that, because there's a local flavor, a big story. Hey, I got my viewer. I bet it's Scott Troutman. Hey, Scott, how you doing? If it's not Scott, hi, whoever you are. I appreciate you. You can let me know who you are if you're not Scott Troutman at my Twitter page at Holidill, HOLIDILL. You're late. You missed 13 minutes. No, I know you're still working, so I'm not going to scare you away. Though me guard probably did. So we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about maybe a little bit of football, because NFL free agency is also going on during this week. Geez, this week is insane. And also this week, last Sunday we had the time change, so everything's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, crazy right now. Powerball and Mega Millions. Hey, if you haven't played, you've got an hour and 15 minutes to get a Powerball ticket, because the Powerball jackpot is $455 million. We'll talk about that in a few minutes too. Stories of the week that I always talk about: the death of a legendary scientist, physician, whatever you want, not physician, scientist, physicist, whatever you want to call him. We'll talk about that as well. A little heartfelt, not heartfelt, a little not heartbreaking, heartfelt. It's Scott, right? It's me. Haha. You're auditioning for the new Leprechaun movie because the outfit is scary. Yes, thank you for mentioning the new Leprechaun movie, because I'll be talking about that as well. Yes, it is my friend Scott Troutman. Yes, the world's tallest leprechaun. You like it? I have a dilly dilly one also, but I didn't want to wear that one today. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the new Leprechaun movie, obviously, though I would be killer in that, I think, also, literally. Pokemon Go, as we always do. Phone issues. My phone's still messed up. Let's see where we are now. Okay, my phone's not bothering me now. It's a little bit of a weird situation with my phone today. I just figured I'd kill a little bit of time on someone I knew in college. Just made a major move in her career, which I want to talk about as well. A little before Scott came on, and I hate this. Yeah, tomorrow, the 18th of March, if you're watching this live, if you're watching it on tape delay, whatever March 18th was, whenever it was yesterday, if it was today, if it was a week ago, whatever, would have been my stepdad's birthday. For those who know me, my stepdad died back in September, and I went to see my mom today, so I'll talk about what's going on, what happened with my mom today. Nothing bad, just something kind of cool. I got my new haircut. Again, Scott, you won't be able to see it till after the show when I reveal it at the end. It's my regular haircut. It's just short. Come on, man. Everyone knows me. It's not going to get anything crazy. Coffee Fest is going on. That has a big thing to do with my coffee house idea. I think I might throw a little Snarkstock in there. And Scott, you might be interested to hear about this, because I want to see you at Snarkstock if we can get you and Luke, if you want him to come too. It'd be great. Great fun. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 31-hour movie marathon. You can pretty much figure out what that is. And then one last teaser. A few other things of interest as well, but one last teaser. Guess what's going to happen again this year? The world is going to end again this year. Why am I acting so sarcastic and snarky about it? Stay tuned to find out. So let's see. May as well hit with the first big storyline of the week. Stephen Hawking, scientist, physicist, one of the smartest men in the entire world, had ALS, I believe, was only given 2 years to live when he was diagnosed with it back in the 50s or something like that. Yes, 2018, and he just died this week. So he fought the odds and became one of the most influential and smartest people in the world, basically. Not being outrageous about that. That's pretty much, you can ask anybody, and they ask you who are the smartest people living, not fictional, real, who are the smartest people. One of the first names I guarantee you people go and talk about is Stephen Hawking. He didn't let his disease debilitate him. Even when he was in the wheelchair and couldn't talk, normally had to use a computer voice to do that. But he was still a firecracker. Hell, they made a biopic of him, a movie with I forget the actor's name, but he's in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. They did a movie, and I think he either won the Oscar for it or I knew he was nominated for it. At least I don't remember if he won the Oscar for it. And portrayed Stephen Hawking in a film. So rest in peace, Stephen Hawking. I might not have known exactly what you were talking about, though I probably should read one of your books that supposedly explains everything in layman's terms from what I've heard. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know. So this one's for you, bud. And there's my cat. What are you meowing about? The mice back? I wasn't going to mention this, but yeah, last year we had an invasion of mice in our house. I think we had about 5 or 6 of them, but my Jinxie kitty, who I'm petting right now, you can't see, she's off camera. She caught a bunch of them, and then some of the other ones were just stupid. One of them ate some of the Arm & Hammer baking soda that was underneath our sink and died of that. So I was like, okay, that was last winter, and then in the spring, they never came back. Summer, they weren't there. Fall, they never came back. I was like, okay, what are we going to do if they come back this winter? Winter comes, nothing. No mice, no nothing. It's like, okay, maybe they learned their lesson. Well, earlier this week, actually Monday, after the time change, so I was a little kind of out of it anyway. And so what I do is when I get ready for work, I get up at about 5:15 in the morning. I shower and I make the kids' lunches. And then after I do that, I sit down on my sofa in the family room and I go through my social media for about, depending on when I get done, when I get out of the shower and when I finish making the lunches, it might be anywhere between an hour to like half an hour that I go on social media and take a look at Twitter and Facebook and see if anything's new. So I'm sitting on the sofa in the family room, just minding my own business, and I start hearing running around. Yes, I'm talking about you. And I was like, what the hell is Jinx doing? So I get up, and I see Jinx. She's staring at, right by our front door, we have a bench that has where we put our shoes and book bags and stuff like that. She was looking in that general direction, and she was like trying to get her nose in there. I was like, what in the world is she doing? So I turned on the light and I started moving shoes around. I didn't see anything. Moving book bags around, didn't see anything. So I said, okay, let me just look a little closer because she was getting really agitated. So I moved the bench. All of a sudden, this little black thing goes, phew, jumps right out. And as I turned and saw it, it was a little mouse going. So like, oh, great, we got a mouse, our first one. Let's see a mouse over there. Do you, Jinx? Wandering around here. I don't know. Maybe something's going on. I hope you don't see a mouse. I think she's just smelling stuff right now. So Jinx is running around the living room trying to catch this mouse. I'm trying to catch it somehow because I don't want this mouse in my house. But it gets behind things, and it's fast and stuff. And so it gets behind a different sofa. We have a sofa in the living room. It gets behind there, and Jinx is able to fit back there. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And it runs back out and runs behind another table and by our china cabinet and all over the place. Are you done? No, you're just going to chill. So I'm trying to catch it, and I'm running late because I got to get moving. I got to get to work. So I was like, what am I going to do? So then it goes behind the sofa again, and Jinx cuts it off on one end. Is okay, I'll cut it off on the other end, and maybe we'll be able to catch it. And so I move the sofa to see if I can grab it, and it disappeared. I don't know where it went. Jinx all of a sudden loses complete interest in it. So either it squeezed down into our vents, which is a possibility because we have a vent there, and because I've heard things in our walls scratching around, or it's somewhere else, but I haven't seen it since then. So I'm hoping that wherever it is, it's not going to come back. So that's why I'm freaked out when Jinx came down here meowing, but I think she's just watching me right now. You can go see Mommy? She's upstairs. Anyway, so that's my mouse story. So it was the only mouse we've had this year, this winter, which is good. And hopefully we won't see any more of that. Let's see. You know what? I really don't want to talk about anything that El Presidente says. So let's just mention Space Force is all I got to say about that. He wants to create a armed services for outer space, which, is, a cool idea, I guess, if we had, spaceships that could fly in space and we have a constant movement in space and there's like aliens coming and they're going to destroy us and we need someone to protect us in space. Oh, well, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I said something about it, so I'll there, check it off. Some more sad news. And I don't know if that's just because of progress, the way things go. Toys R Us is closing all their stores. Now, the fall of last year, they were going to file for bankruptcy, and they closed a number of shops, but they kept a bunch open. They kept the one near us open here in Reisterstown, so to get through the Christmas season, I guess, because they make probably most of their money around Christmas time. They were just not doing as well during the rest of the year. That's why they were hemorrhaging money. And so it survived. So like, okay, maybe, the restructure under the bankruptcy and Chapter 11, and they'll be able to get back on their feet, and as if nothing will happen. And then this news came out this week that all Toys R Us's will be closed. And I think through, they said May or June, they will allow you to use your gift cards if you got any gift cards for Toys R Us. But after that, they're going to be done because all the stores should be liquidated and done by the summer. So that has drawn people to go to the store and go absolutely crazy buying up all the toys and stuff like that, which isn't a bad idea. It's a way to get stuff that you want. Probably they're just trying to liquidate it, so they're probably at like half price and stuff like that. So it just kind of sucks, because the people who work there. Ooh, it's a spider. Oh, big ass spider too. Man, this house is full of shit. He was here the other day too. Why didn't you catch that, Jinx? You got to feel bad though for the people who are working there because they know they're going to lose their jobs, and yet they're still expected to come in and work, running cash registers, restocking shelves with whatever they have in the back, because they're probably not buying any new stuff because they're liquidating everything. But they might already have things in the work that are finally coming in. And you got to feel bad for them. You go in there, you're buying stuff at all half price, and you go up to the register and they're scanning stuff, and all this stuff that probably, if it wasn't at half price would be like $300 some is only $150, and you got all this extra stuff. And they're like, well, that's just wonderful because I don't have a job. It just kind of sucks. But at the same time, though, you got to think about, what's the reason behind it? Is it because, malls are dying also and department stores are dying? And the biggest problem is the internet. The internet can be a great thing. You get to see my wonderful face every week doing this wonderful little show that more people should be watching. But, everyone does stuff on the internet now. There's all kinds of crazy stuff on the internet now. There's videos, there's games, there's information, there's news. There's just everything you need to know is on the internet. And if you want to buy stuff, you go and you buy stuff. You go to websites and you just buy stuff and they'll ship it to you. You don't have to leave your house. And that's kind of sad because, now we're a group of people who, Jinx, you're really freaking me out. There's no mouse around here, is there? I hope not. There's groups of people, that, they don't do anything. If they want to buy something, they just go, Alexa, buy this, or Alexa, buy that, or they go to the website and they buy something. And look, I'll be the first person to admit it. I got this shirt on the internet. I got shirts for the whole family on the internet because I didn't know where there might be a store that had St. Patrick's Day t-shirts. I'm sure there probably is some around here, but they didn't have the ones that I like World's Tallest Leprechaun. So, I'm not trying to be hypocritical or anything, but it's just that's one of the things that's causing the demise of the store is you can do this all online now, and you just have to pay for the shipping. And in some cases, like with Amazon Prime, you don't have to pay for any shipping anymore. Free shipping for, and you get it within 2 days. You have to pay. I had to pay extra shipping for this because I wanted it in time for today. It was available through Prime. I could have gotten it for free, but I wouldn't have gotten it until tomorrow. And what good is that? St. Patrick's Day is today. I got to wear this today for my show. So I paid the extra $4 to get it here sooner, and I got it. So hey, can't beat that. Oh, this is disgusting. I might have to take this off soon. So I understand that. So, I mean, if you want to buy toys now, you just go online, say, you know what, I want to get the new video game, or I want to get new Pops or whatever. And you just buy them there, and they have them in stock. You don't have to worry about, going to the store. Well, they have the one you're looking for specifically. Like, I want a Black Panther Pop. So you might go to Toys R Us, and they don't have a Black Panther Pop. And you're like, dang it. What am I going to do? Oh, Black Panther Pop in Amazon. Boom. There's a list of, there's like 20 of them, and they're all different prices. And some are Prime, and some are not. You might get a cheap one. You might be able to buy one for like $5, but you have to pay like $10 shipping because it's coming from England, and you get it within a month. Or you can find the ones that have Prime, since if you're a Prime member, and get it, 2-day shipping for free. Order it. They'll charge your credit card right away. Boom, you're done. And then in 2 days, there's a knock on your door, or they just leave the box at your house. You open it up. There's your Black Panther Pop. So it's convenient, yeah. Particularly if you're looking for something in general and they don't have it at the store, and now you're shit out of luck. But now you just order it online. So the introduction of online ordering, yes, has killed the department store. Now, is that entirely a bad thing? Well, yeah, it is a little bit, because sometimes you don't know what you're looking for. Sometimes you just want to walk around a place and just look at all the stuff, and then something's going to draw your eye and say, hey, you know what? Maybe they would like that. Maybe I should pick that up. Maybe that's something I've never seen before. Something you never would have even thought about is right there. So I don't know. So it's kind of a two-edged sword, because yes, it is very convenient to buy stuff online now and get stuff right away and get the stuff that you want and know you're going to get it, But at the same time, you start becoming lazy and complacent. You don't go out anymore. You sit on your sofa and you look at your cell phone and you order stuff through your cell phone, or you go on your computer, you order stuff on your computer, or you order stuff through Alexa, and it comes directly to you, and you're not getting up and doing anything. You're getting up, you go to work, you come back home, and that's it, Some people might say, hey, gives me more time to go to the gym or hang out with my friends or do sports or whatever. And hey, if that's the case, then go for it, Saves you time. You don't have to walk around stores now and looking for things. But at the same time, though, it will make you a little lazy and a little complacent and just, I don't know. It's hard to quantify, but it's still kind of disappointing, because I still like to have, stores where you can go and you can buy something that day and not have to wait. Like a good example is Best Buy. Used to buy DVDs there all the time, because they always had a really big selection, huge selection. I mean, I go into Best Buy, I'd be like, half the store would be videos and DVDs and Blu-rays. And then every week when a new one came out, I would drive over to the Best Buy and I'd go and I'd grab the newest Star Wars or superhero movie, whatever, pay for it, boom, take it right home. I could watch it that night. Whereas, online ordering, unless you pre-ordered it, and even then, I don't even know if it'll come on the day it's supposed to. I guess it was. I've never pre-ordered anything, but if you don't pre-order it, if you say, hey, you know what, I need to get that new Thor movie, and you haven't pre-ordered and it's out now, you type it in. Okay, it's going to take 2 days. I'll get it in 2 days. But if you want to watch it that second, and you don't want to do the digital download or whatever, you used to be able to just say, I'm just going to go over to Best Buy and pick up a copy of it and be home. Now, Target and Walmart, they still sell DVDs, and you can still do that. And that's good on them. But Best Buy now has just said, you know what? DVDs don't really sell. We don't sell as many DVDs as we used to because of streaming services and other stuff as well. So we're going to cut back on that and do more on the technology and become more of a technology place. So now, guess what? I'm not going to Best Buy anymore because, I'm not a big tech guy. I'm not a big video game player. They have a lot of video game stuff as well. And I'm not a big tech guy. So I'm not going to go and constantly get new phones or new things for my computer or new phones. I think I already said that. Stuff like that. So it is a shame. And, I kind of wish there was newsstands which would have magazines. I mean, yeah, you could go to a Barnes & Noble or whatever, or you could read it online, but there are some people that still like to have the floppies or have it on hand, and go to drive to a newsstand and just pick up a copy of the newest issue of Entertainment Weekly or Time Magazine or something like that. And just have it in your hand in there instead of having, a waiter. You can subscribe to it, obviously, and get in the mail, but still, if you didn't do that, you just want a particular issue, like with me and my Oscar picks for Entertainment Weekly before I discovered they're not doing them anymore. I had to go to, Barnes & Noble and make sure I got the right issue because they have multiple issues out on their newsstand. And I had to find the right one and get it. So, I don't know. It's hard. It's sad to see places like a Blockbuster or Toys R Us disappear because, it was part of your past and a way of let's go to Blockbuster night, and you go in there and you say, I don't know what I want to watch. So you go up and down the aisles like, oh, this looks like a good movie, and you grab it and you watch it and you return it in a couple days. That was always great. It was a cool hangout, and you always saw kids there. And same with Toys R Us. It would be a place like, I need to get toys for a birthday present or a party or for my kids for Christmas or whatever, and you could go right to Toys R Us and you could buy it right then and there if they had it in stock, obviously. Buy it right then and there and get it and wrap it up. So if you were running late or whatever, you need to get a present that day or whatever, you just roll out the Toys R Us, boom, you got your present, you come back home, you wrap it up, and all's good. Now, if you did it online, if you just say, and you waited till the last minute, you'd have to wait a day to get the present. So I don't know. I just kind of miss it. Let's see, what should I do? I'll talk about my phone issue real quick. Let's just be real quick. It seems to be doing okay, but I went to my mom's house to visit her, and I guess I'll segue into that after this today. And she doesn't have Wi-Fi, so, and I didn't really look at my phone all that much. I looked at it a little bit, but so I used my minutes and stuff like that. And it was running fine. I was doing stuff like that. And by the time I left, I was at 48%. It didn't bother me that much. It's like, okay, it's 48%. We're leaving anyway. I was going to get in the car. I had my car charger. I could pop it in there and charge it. And the ride home from my mom's to my house is about 25 minutes. By the time I got home, it'd probably be somewhere in the 90s charged up. Or maybe, probably in the 90s. So I turn off my phone, I get all the kids' stuff, get the kids together, we go out to the car, I get in the car, get them all buckled in, get it all ready, get myself set before I start the car, get my phone out, plug it in, I look at the battery power, it's dropped to 16%. It's like, how did that happen? It was literally just at 48%. How did that happen? So I don't know, I was kind of confused, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it right now. So I plugged it in, and it was fine. 99%. That makes sense. And we drove home. And by the time we got home, it was back up to about 72%. It's like, okay, I can just hook it up to my charger at home. I'll be on the Wi-Fi at home. It shouldn't be a problem. So I get in, and I let it sit for a few minutes as I unload stuff and get things put in the refrigerator and get the kids settled and get the heater on and stuff like that. I go to plug in my phone. It's at 48%. how do you make the drop from 72 to 48 in a matter of, it was literally only about maybe 2 minutes. Yes, I have one of the older iPhones, and yes, I know that the battery powers, they deliberately are leaking the battery power, so you go and buy a new one. And we do need to buy new ones. We've had these phones for about 2 or 3 years now, so we're getting close. I mean, they still work fine, but we kind of need to get some new ones because of that. So it was kind of depressing me off again. So I just put it into the charger and just let it sit there for a while. So by the time we got ready for dinner, it was at 100%. And so that was dinner was like back at what, I don't know, 8 o'clock. So now here it is about 10 o'clock, 2 hours later, and I'm at 99% now. So I don't know what happened. That seems about a normal drop for me, because it does drop, even though I'm not using it that much, it still drops slightly here and there. So it was just a weird little thing that I figured I'd mention because I need to kill time. Pokemon Go update. Rayquaza, which was the big legendary raid boss, has gone away. The double XP event has gone away. So the new raid boss is an old raid boss, Lugia. For those who played Pokemon Go, Lugia was out last summer. Definitely time for a new phone. That's what was happening with my phone when I had to replace it last month, 1 month after paying it off. Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 years, Scott. So we probably need to do that. And I don't know, for whatever reason, Dawn is kind of hesitant about it. And we got our phones at the same time. So, yeah, but I think she's starting to see things are a little bit different. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. But Lugia is the new raid boss. Now, he was one that came out last summer during the time where we had the birds, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. Lugia was the fourth one that came out soon after that. Now, what's interesting about Lugia, let me just say about this. It's funny. When he first came out in last year, he was out for about a week, maybe 2 weeks or whatever. By the last day that he was going to be out before they were going to change it to a different legendary, I still hadn't gotten one yet. I'd done a bunch of raids, and I had never caught him. So we did 2 raids on the last day that he was out. Missed him on the first one. We did 1 more raid, and at the last raid that he was probably going to hatch at before now, I got him finally. So I had my Lugia, and that's fine because I just want to have one of every Pokemon. That's all. I'm not like my wife who goes crazy for, she's got 1,000 spots in her Pokédex, and she's got them all filled up with multiple Pokemon. She catches them all the time. She's got a little Gocha watch where whenever she drives around, it catches everything that spawns. And that's a lot of stuff it does. So Lugia came back yesterday, and this morning I did 2 raids for Lugia, and I caught them both. So I now have 3 Lugias. So Lugia seems to be better to me this time around. So we'll see what happens. He's out till April 2nd. So for those who do Pokemon Go, if you did not get a Lugia in your first go round, absolutely go out there and do it. Also, a reminder to Pokemon Go players: next Sunday, the 25th, it's Palm Sunday in the Catholic Church. It's the beginning of Holy Week, but it's also Community Day in Pokemon Go. They've been doing these community days once a month. They're going to be doing it for the rest of the year, where you get, for about a 3-hour period from 2 to 5, usually 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. They release not a special Pokemon, but they increase the spawns of a Pokemon. January was Pikachu, February was Dratini. This month is oh geez, my mind is a blank, Bulbasaur. And so he'll be spawning more often, so you'll be able to catch a lot more of him. There'll also be some shinies, which are special different colorations of them. And if you catch enough to evolve the full Bulbasaur evolution from Bulbasaur to Ivysaur to Venusaur, Venusaur will know a new, if you do it during this 3-hour period, 2, 3, 4-hour period, if you evolve a Venusaur in that time, during that time, it will learn the special move that they do for Community Day. So it's always a fun day. I think we're going to be up in Westminster this Community Day, so that'll be a lot of fun. So if you're if you've sort of gotten away from Pokemon Go, I recommend getting back into it. Gen 3 is still out and about. You can still catch a bunch of Gen 3s. Lugia is now the raid boss. You get a second chance at that. I've done really well, as I said. for about a week and a half. I didn't get any till the last day, and I got one. Now the first day that I've been doing it, I've got two already. So it's just my lucky day with Lugia. And then Community Day is next Sunday. So should be an interesting week because Easter's only 2 weeks away. All right, so enough of that Pokemon Go stuff. Possibility of snow here on the East Coast again, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've been fairly lucky in not getting a lot of these big storms. However, Pennsylvania, New Jersey have been getting hit pretty hard. West Virginia as well. We've been getting barely anything here on the in Maryland. That may change with this storm. It looks like it's a late year storm, late winter storm, because it actually is going to happen on the first day of spring, which is on Tuesday. They're calling for, I think, some substantial snow Tuesday into Wednesday, I think, is now the change. We'll have a better scope of what is supposedly coming tomorrow, which is a 72-hour window, 48-hour window before the storm hits. So that will give you probably the more accurate forecast. So here on the East Coast, we might be having a snow day this week. That's why I was thinking about taking off on Friday, but I said, nah, I'm not going to do it because A, we already had a bunch of people off anyway, and B, I knew this was coming. I'll probably be off with the kids when schools are closed. So we'll see. Speaking of my mom real quick, as I said, tomorrow, the 18th of March, Sunday, is my stepdad's birthday. He passed away in September. So this is going to be the first year that my mom was not going to be able to celebrate my stepdad's birthday with him because he's gone. He's passed away. So I want to make sure she was okay. And plus, she hadn't seen the grandkids in a while. And Dawn was actually out shopping with her mom. Dawn's birthday was the beginning of March, and her mom took her out for some shopping and lunch. So while they were doing that, I took the kids to see my mom and see their grandma, and they love their grandma. And grandma hadn't seen them in a while. Plus, I need to get my hair cut. I got a new haircut. Can't see it just yet. Oh, hell with it. Why not? Then I was going to wait till the end of it, but hey, see, look, doesn't look any different except, you know, it's not as long. It was really, really long. And like the last time I got a haircut was like back in November. I don't even know what I'm doing here now. That's weird now because these things are not behind my ears now. It's not comfortable. You know, I think I'm going to cut it out. So you saw it. I'm the world's tallest leprechaun. I think I'm going to take this off now. Might not be so easy. All right, fine. It's a sign. Hey, I'm Cousin It. There we go. Let's just try this again. I'll figure it out later, so I want to get it off because his hair is starting to get annoying now. All right, so my stepdad, he was in an Irish band, so when we did St. Patrick's Day, it was like his favorite time of the year. He was in an Irish band, so they would always be really busy around this time of the year. This is what's going to be for now. It's not the best look, but hey, what can I do? So I went to my mom's house, and she was fine to see us. We got there about 2 o'clock and stayed till about 6. The haircut place is right up the street, so I left the kids with her, and she watched the kids for me while I went up to get my haircut. Took a really quick time, like 10 minutes, got my haircut done, boom, 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 done, came back, then went up to bowl. There's a duck pin bowling on. Now, for those who don't know what duck pins are, you know, everybody knows 10-pin. 10-pin is the big white bowling balls. I do need a technical difficulty sign. There's the 10 pins are the big white ones, and the ones that you see in all bowling things. You get the big ball, and you get what, 3 chances, 2 chances at knocking the stuff down, right? Yeah, because I'm getting things confused. Duck pin is more of a local. I don't know if anywhere else in the country does duck pin, but Maryland does. Duck pin is they're smaller pins, smaller balls, and you get 3 shots instead of 2. So yeah, it's only 2. So yeah, you only get 2 shots for regular bowling. So there's a duck pin bowling alley right up the street from my mom, and she always takes the kids there because they like going to it. I mean, it's an old school. It was there when I was growing up in that area. It was still there when I was growing up. So it's old school. It's not modern. It's still got the old like wooden slider things that knock over the pins when you're done and lift them up and stuff like that. And they always jam. Like there are some people next to us where the thing jammed and they had to go in the back and fix it, which has happened to us a million times also. Sometimes the balls get jammed in there as well. So we did that, and that was fun. And it's done the same way. So instead of 2 times, you get 3 times to roll to knock down the pins. And I won. I got 104. Noah got 91. Noel got 72, and I think my mom got like 65 or something like that. So we got pizza there because they have, it's typical, type of pizza you get at a bowling alley type of stuff. They had drinks and video arcade games and stuff like that. So it's a fun little event. And so it was just nice to sit and talk to my mom for a while and do that stuff. And she's fine. She says, she's doing okay, and the only thing that really upsets her is sometimes she feels lonely, but it goes away quickly for her. So because she likes being able to do whatever she wants to now and whenever she wants to, because she had been for the longest time my stepdad's caretaker. So she was helping him do stuff and take care of him in his last few years of his life before he passed away. So she really didn't have a chance to do stuff that she wanted to do. Now she's been doing it, and she seems to be doing okay. So she's doing good. And so I just want to make sure that I was there for her that time to make sure that she was okay so close to his birthday. So again, here's cheers to you, Roger. He always loves St. Patrick's Day as well. As I mentioned earlier, I teased earlier, both Powerball and Mega Millions are huge jackpots. Powerball is $455 million. That gets drawn at 11 o'clock tonight. Mega Millions, which might be more of a local, I don't know how many states are involved in Mega Millions. There's a few, that much like Powerball. I think there's a bunch. Theirs is like 300 and something, 45 or something like that, 330 or something like that. So that'll get drawn on Monday. Ugh, why do I keep getting this hair in my mouth? Ugh, it's disgusting. So, ooh, I like that. It's not right up in my face. I bought tickets. I usually don't buy lottery tickets because I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, I'm going to win this time. It's 100% certain, and I know I'm going to win with these numbers and stuff like that. I know that I'm not going to. I know I'm not going to win. But what keeps me going is the whole thing is that, well, you're not going to win, but someone's got to win. And maybe you get lucky. Maybe today's going to be a lucky day. I've had a lucky day so far today. I mean, I caught 2 Lugias. I won bowling. I got a golden, a shiny Magikarp, which I'd never gotten before today. I don't want to, put all my faith into luck because I know the odds of winning Powerball, that I have those specific sets of numbers that they're going to be drawing in about 40 minutes. And I won't even know if I won until tomorrow because I'm not going to watch the drawing. I don't even remember where I put my tickets. So actually I do. They're beside my bed, but I'm doing a show, so I'm not going to go upstairs and grab them and keep an eye on what the things are. I'll read on the internet, hey, there was a winning ticket for the lottery. One winning ticket was sold in Reisterstown, Maryland. And then that's be like, oh shit. And then I'll take a look at it and see if I won. Now, if I did win, I've already discussed on multiple times on this show what I'd be doing with it. I have lots of plans for it. I've already got it all pretty much taken care of. I know what I'm going to do with everything if I won. An added bonus now is I would probably put a lot of it towards my coffee shop, which I'm not going to get into because I don't want anybody to steal my idea. But for those who've been following me also, I am trying to open a coffee house here in the area. I have an idea for what I want to do. And I have an idea what I want to do with it and how to get it done. It's just you need the money to do it. Now, I'm focusing more on, I'm looking into how much it's going to cost to do things and looking at online and learning about the job a little bit. And I got to start thinking about how I'm going to get the money. There's possible GoFundMe pages, Kickstarters, find some investors, get some tax, help, loans, whatever. And then I got to take a look and see. I have the perfect spot picked out. So I need to see how much the land is there and how much it's going to cost to build. But I want that I envision. That's why I need to win the lottery, so I don't have to worry about all this stuff. I was like, okay, I'll just use the money I won for the lottery to buy my coffee house. So we'll see. Wish me luck. So we'll see. Oh, get away, spider. Ugh. Let's try to sneak back up. First news story. This one I just caught right before I came down here, actually. New stem cell study plans to bring dead people back to life. Is that a really good idea? I mean, I don't know. I mean, because we don't actually know what physically happens when somebody dies. What if there is a soul that you have and you die and your soul disappears, goes to heaven, hell, whatever you believe in, and then you're revived due to these stem cells? What's going to happen then? I don't know. We don't know because we don't know what actually happens when you die because we've never died and come back to life. And could tell you what's going on. So I don't know. I mean, in theory, it's a good idea. It's like, oh, you lost all you lost your only son, your only daughter, or you were so young, or stuff like that. Here, why don't we give you some stem cells and you get right back to life? I mean, I guess stem cells couldn't do anything, but it just doesn't seem like a good idea because we don't know what happens when you die, and we don't know if it will screw things up more if you bring somebody back without a soul. We don't know what that's going to be like, or is it going to be the start of the zombie apocalypse? Then, I mean, are you going to bring somebody back and then are they going to be like a zombie? I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to know. Though with this news, it puts into perspective the fact that the world is going to end, people, on June 24th of this year, 2018. The world, done, over. Everything's going to happen. It's going to blow up. We're all going to die. Dylan, why are you being sarcastic again? Well, because since 2011, there have been multiple accounts that the world is going to end on these specific dates. We had, a date in 2011. What again? Yes, Scott, again, June 24th this time. We had the rapture was supposed to happen in 2011. Didn't happen. The Mayan calendar ended December 20th, 2012. We thought end of the world there. Nothing happened. And those are the big two. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like every year, some other wacko said it's going to end. There was some guy last year, 2 years ago, that was betting money that the world was going to end. So much so that he quit his job and he built like a fallout shelter and shit like that to survive and was packing stuff up. And then nothing happened. So you got just like what Scott said. What again? You just got to laugh because there's always going to be somebody that says the world's going to end. And here's one thing you need to know. It doesn't matter if you follow the Bible or whatever, but let's take a look at what they say in the Bible, because the story that I read on Facebook, and if you want, I think, Scott, if you go back into my Facebook page, you can see the article that'll describe the end of the world on June 24th. The headline was, Bible says the world will end on June 24th, 2018. Now, I thought the Bible said the world was going to end 2 years ago. So that's why I'm thinking it's just, let's just pick a random date out of the hat. Hey, let's just say September 19th, 2018 was when the world's going to end. Or better yet, September 19th, 2019. 1919, September is the 9th month. It all has this sort of, that's it. It's got to be it. I think maybe I'll start a rumor now that the world is going to end on September 19th, 2019. People are using stuff from the Bible or other ancient texts or whatever, and they are, they're talking about detailing the ends of the world and when it's going to happen. And they don't actually have a specific, they're not going to say, yeah, the world's going to end June 24th, 2018, because probably back then they didn't know what the hell a June 24th, 2018 was. But instead they use stuff like, when the second month of the year has the second blue moon of the year, back to back with an alignment of planets, the world will end. So obviously, or 6 months after that happens, the world is going to end. So logically, if you look at things, we're going to have 2 blue moons in a row. January, not really in a row because February didn't have it. January had a blue moon, which is basically 2 full moons in the month. February had 0 full moons. March is going to have 2 more. It's going to have one. We have one on the 1st of March. We'll have one on the 31st of March. We also had a planetary alignment. Not all planetary, but like 3 or 4 planets were kind of aligned with the moon recently. But that's March. It's not June. March is still 3 months away. March, April, May, June. Yeah, 3 months away. So it doesn't, from what I read, it doesn't distinctly say it's going to be June 24th, 2018. They use colorful other descriptions saying the 6th month of the year when it's sunny and it's in the the moon is in Sagittarius, and they use that kind of stuff. Like, oh yeah, look, it's got to be right around this time. The Bible says, and this is actually a Bible line, a quote, whatever you want to call it, an excerpt from the Bible. It says, "You will never know when the world will end. Only one person knows when the world is going to end, and that's God. And He ain't telling anybody. He didn't tell Jesus. He didn't tell the apostles. He didn't tell anybody. He'll end the world when He wants to, if that's what your belief system is. So if that's your belief system, then, Him not telling you when the world is going to end doesn't mesh with the world's going to end June 24th, 2018. So I'm going to keep bringing these up because they're stupid. They're funny. We know the world's not going to end on June 24th, 2018. If it does, I'll give me a culpa on my show as the world is falling apart around me if I have electricity. It's not going to happen, people. Relax. You're going to be fine. Now I'm in a good position. Where should I go now? I guess I haven't talked about St. Patrick's Day in a little bit, so let's hit a little bit St. Patrick's Day. Since today is St. Patrick's Day live, there is a running back for the Baltimore Ravens. His name is Alex Collins. He was a new running back for the Ravens this year, was a breath of fresh air, gave them a really good running game, and I'm a Ravens fan, so I can say this stuff. But the one thing that everybody jumped on about his story was that he learned a lot of his movements because he took Irish dancing. And so whenever he was playing and it was on a national game or whatever, someone would always bring up, yeah, Alex Collins, he was a Irish dancer, because you don't really consider a running back for an NFL team to be a dancer. But the thing is, though, Jerome Bettis took like ballet and stuff like that. And I remember because he played for the Steelers, and I don't like the Steelers. I see them every 2 years, or every two years. I see them 2 times a year. There was one game he was playing the Ravens. Jerome Bettis got the ball, and he was running it. He was running up the line, and he was inbounds the whole time. There were Ravens coming out trying to tackle him. He did a pirouette, graceful. He's a big guy. He's run down the line, run down the line. And then here comes a Ravens player. He's trying to get him to tackle him out of bounds or whatever. And Bettis goes, literally, it's like, woo! And this guy misses him totally, does a little flip over him, and then keeps running. It was a beautiful pirouette. And he learned it because he took ballet. Because when you're a running back like Bettis, like Alex Collins is, you need to have fast feet, fast legs, and they got to be strong. Down 94%. So yeah, it's getting a little bad. So it's, you got to have that sort of stuff. So it's not embarrassing that running backs took dance. Even wide receivers for that matter, they can probably do some, acrobatic catches if they have, that upper body strength you might only get from not necessarily just lifting weights, stuff like that, but the gracefulness of being able to catch it, land, and run in a dance aspect of it, or how to move your feet. So now, I saw something on Facebook. They had Alex Collins dancing with a young girl at a dance troupe or whatever, and they were doing Irish dance type of thing. So it was always fun to see that, and I figured it'd be a neat little story to discuss during St. Patrick's Day. As Scott mentioned earlier in the film, or earlier in the show, I look like I could be cast in the new Leprechaun movie that's coming out on Sci-Fi. Now, Leprechaun has been one of those horror film series that you just got to shake your head and say, why does this still exist? Because the first one, they tried to make a serious horror film out of it. You got Warwick Davis, who was in Willow and Star Wars and the Harry Potter movies. They got him to play a leprechaun who someone steals his gold, so he gets his revenge. But he was a sadistic, evil leprechaun. So instead of, just playing pranks on him or something like that, like most leprechauns do, he killed people. And young Jennifer Aniston was in that. I guess it was a modest enough hit that they made a sequel, and it was not as good, so like that. But then it went off the rails. You start getting Leprechaun in the Hood, where he's taking on a bunch of gangbangers, and then there's Leprechaun in Space, and that was a weird one as well. So Sci-Fi right now is airing all the Leprechaun movies or maybe not literally right now, but it was sometime today they were airing all the Leprechaun movies. I wouldn't be surprised if they're airing them now. So they're airing them right now, and they announced today that they will be releasing a new movie. It's called Return of Leprechaun next year around this time probably. So they're footing the bill for a new Leprechaun movie that will debut on the Sci-Fi Channel probably in time for next St. Patrick's Day. So huzzah on that! Good job, Leprechaun people. Linda Carter. We all know her as Wonder Woman. Some of us was to us, for some of us, she was our first celebrity crush, because when she played Wonder Woman, we were pretty much in our young age, and we didn't know much about love or infatuation or whatever, but we just happened to just like watching her run around as Wonder Woman, spin around and kick butt in general. And she's still great. I mean, she is still a singer. She lives in the Washington, D.C. area because I think her husband is a senator or a congressman or works in the government in some form or another. And the reason why I brought that up is because at last year's Baltimore Comic-Con, they brought her up to the Comic-Con to do a concert, not to sign autographs as portraying Wonder Woman, but to have her come up and do a concert, like the Friday night of the show or something like that, which you had to buy tickets for to see. But that's kind of cool. You get to see your celebrity crush singing, and she still looks good for her age too. So she's going to be getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is fantastic. Mark Hamill got his last week. Linda Carter's going to be getting hers very soon, so it's well deserved. And she's probably, I think there've been talk that she's probably going to be cast in the new Wonder Woman movie that's going to start filming this summer. So that's all on that one. Let's see what else here. Coffee Fest. Let's talk about that a bit. I talked a little bit about my coffee shop idea. I'm not going to give it away too much because I don't want anyone to steal it. But I had heard an ad on the news on the radio yesterday that there is something called Coffee Fest is going on down at the convention center here in Baltimore, and I'd never heard of Coffee Fest. I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay, it's some sort of convention for coffee stuff. I mean, if I really want to do this coffee house thing, it might be the best idea would be to go in there and see what's going on. So it was a possible idea floated. I mean, it's still going to be there tomorrow. We don't have really any plans tomorrow. Would we go down there? I don't know if we would now, because it turns out it's more like a trade show. And this would be something I would probably have to go to if I opened up my coffee shop, because it's one of those things where you learn about coffee and you learn how to make it and sell it and how to open up stores, and maybe I should go down to get an idea of what's good and look at new product and try, and people are trying to sell you their coffee beans to put in your coffee shop and stuff like that. So it might be something that I should probably check out if I am serious about doing this coffee house. So maybe I'll end up going to it, but I'd never heard of it. The first I heard of it, and then to have it as an ad on a radio when I never heard about it before. And I don't know, is the first one? I don't know, because I don't know anything about it. So I think it's kind of cool. So huzzah on that as well. I'm against this idea. I think the Lord of the Rings films were done to perfection by Peter Jackson. Fellowship, Two Towers, and The Return of the King. I thought all three of them were good. The extended versions on DVD and Blu-ray are better, obviously, than theatrical versions. So you want to buy those and you want to watch those every time you can, which is what we haven't done in a while, but we used to do that, from when Return of the King ended to now, or like when we had our first kids or whatever. We used to watch the trilogy all the time, or at least one movie here, one movie there, stuff like that. Never maybe all in a row, but we would watch them periodically, every week. Well, Amazon announced, I guess it was fall of last year, excuse me, that they were going to be doing a TV show of Lord of the Rings through their streaming service to get more people to sign up for Prime and their streaming service. Right now, they just announced that they believe that they could make 2 seasons out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Because let's face it, I mean, they made 3 movies, but they were only, 2.5, 3 hours long, each of them. So if you go for like 2.5 hour long, I think it was 5, 7.5, like 8 hours long to watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. They're talking about having 2 seasons of Lord of the Rings stuff, and like an hour an episode, something like that. So they really, really want to get in depth in the books and do some other stuff as well. So, I think they predicted 2 seasons would be good for us to tell the entire story. But now they're saying that it might cost upwards of $500 million. Why don't you give that money to me, and I can open my coffee shop, and you don't worry about doing a Lord of the Rings TV show, because they did it perfectly for the movies. Now, I know a lot of purists are going to yell at me and say, no, they didn't. They missed a whole bunch of stuff. They changed stuff around. They need to do a straight-up adaptation of it. And Amazon was going to do something like that. Well, there's no guarantee about that either, because I thought they were going to do a straight-up adaptation of The Walking Dead when it was announced. Guess what? They didn't. So, are they going to do it? We'll see. I don't know. This is something that might interest me. Not really, because I think they did it perfectly. And if I want to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I'll just throw the movies in. It's not going to take 13 weeks or however long it's going to be, 8 episodes a season, 16 episodes, whatever it is. It's not going to take that long for me to sit down and watch these every week to see how it progresses. I'd rather wait for the whole season to come out on DVD and then binge it at one time. That's the way of our culture is now. Unless you're going to pull a Netflix and you're going to do one full season and then release every episode of the season at one time, that's a different story. Then maybe I'd watch it then. But if you're going to just do it like a regular TV show, 13 episodes, whatever, and release them once a week for 13 weeks, I'm probably not going to watch it because they did it already. And they did it perfectly in the movies, in my opinion. Have I read the books? No, I haven't. So maybe I'm not the best person to be discussing this. But I think they did a pretty good job. And I don't know what else more they could add to it. More walking, more danger. I don't know. Wow, I'm really dizzy. It feels like I've seen 3 viewers already. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. Paris Themin. That's a name you probably don't even know what it is. Maybe you do know because you know the story I'm getting ready to tell you. Paris Themin was an actor when he was a kid, way back in the early 70s. He happened to play an iconic character in an iconic movie. He happened to play a certain character by the name of Mike TV in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie that starred Gene Wilder. Now, for all you remember, if you remember Willy Wonka, Mike TV was the obnoxious little kid who was obsessed with television. It still has one of the greatest lines. One of the lines in the movie that makes me shake my head all the time is when he discovered the gold coin or gold ticket, and they were interviewing him, and he's watching a Cowboys and Indians show on TV, and he's got a gun. He's like pretending to shoot the Indians and stuff like that. And he's talking to the reporter, and he said, "Dad's not going to let me have a real gun, so I have to have this cap gun." And the dad goes, "Not till you're 12, son." It's like, you're going to buy your 12-year-old a handgun. That's funny. It's really funny. Just the way he said it, and the way, and just watching this kid, he's violent and all that stuff, and you're going to give him a handgun at the age of 12. I just laughed. I thought it was funny. I did not like the revamped Mike TV and the Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie. That wasn't a really good movie anyway. They made him be too smart for his own good, and it just didn't work. This obnoxious Mike TV kind of worked, and he was the next to last one that survived. So, but he was on Jeopardy. Paris Themin was this week, I guess, because I just saw the story this week, and nobody knew who he was. I don't even know if he mentioned that he was in Willy Wonka until, or maybe he did later on. I don't know because I didn't watch the episode. I just happened to see that Paris Themin, an actor who was in one of the most beloved movies of all time, was now on an episode of Jeopardy, like any regular Joe Cool, who always, because they have a celebrity edition of Jeopardy every once in a while, but the majority of people on that show are normal people like you and I. And just the fact that he had that one role. Yeah, and I don't know if he probably didn't do anything after that because I hadn't heard of him. And maybe he did it of his own volition, or just he wasn't getting the jobs or whatever. I don't know. But I just find it funny that this person who was in this iconic movie ends up on Jeopardy. I don't know. I just find it funny. He mentioned it in his fun facts, but Al Trebek didn't bring it up. Okay. Thanks, Scott. Scott, I guess, saw it or read the stuff, so he knows what's going on. All right. I'm going to talk a little basketball real quick because this actually has a connection to my area. March Madness, and plus, the name of the episode, the Ides of St. Patrick Pie Day Madness. The NCAA tournament is going on at this time. It started on Wednesday with the play-in games, I think, and then the first round was Thursday and Friday, split up Thursday and Friday, and then the second round is going to be split up today and tomorrow, and then you're going to be set with the Sweet 16, I think. Yeah, because then it's the Elite Eight after that. And then they play next weekend. I guess they start like Thursday and Friday again, and then knock it down to of the weekend to either the Elite Eight or the Final Four, and then the championship weekend. But I'm not a big college basketball fan. I do one bracket a year. As I said, the guy who used to do it at our work, and we paid money to try to make money on it. He passed away a few months ago. So no one in our work did it because they don't know how to do it because the scoring was complicated. He was the only one who knew how to do it. So a friend of mine who I do fantasy baseball with, he invited me to his usual yearly bracket and online at Yahoo, and I said, okay, I'll do it. I don't have one. I'll do it this year. I hadn't done it for the last couple of years, but I'll go ahead and do it. So I went in and I filled out my bracket real quickly. This is like Wednesday before the playing games and stuff like that. So I was just going with what I'd heard on sports radio and what I know of my own stuff, and just picking, what. Eights sometimes, beat the tens or whatever. I'll pick or rather 10 sometimes beat the eights. So I would pick some of the underdogs here and there. The one thing I didn't do is I did not pick any of the 16 seeds, because 16 seeds is the lowest seed you can get, or highest depending on how you want to discuss it. The number one seed obviously is the best one. And the number one overall seed this year was UVA, University of Virginia. And they were going to be playing number 16, who is the lowest of the low, number 16 team that just happened to come from my backyard, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. It's a small college, and the reason why it was in the NCAA tournament was because they're in a completely different division than anybody else. But if you win your championship for the MAC, in this case, I think they're MAC conference. If you win the championship, you get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Anyone of all the different, like the Big Ten, the Big Sky, the ACC, the Pac-10, whatever all these other ones are, the American East, the Ivy League, stuff like that. Whoever won their championship game for all these different things, the SEC, the ACC, stuff like that, whoever won their championship game would get an automatic bid to be in the tournament. So they would automatically get bid, depending on what their ranking would be, is dependent upon a bunch of other things, but you would automatically get bid. In this case, UMBC was lucky that they didn't have to do a play-in game. So I guess I don't know what goes into how they pick the play-in game teams, but UMBC was the 16th seed, and they were playing number one overall UVA. Now, obviously, in the history of the NCAA tournament, no 16th seed has ever beat a number one seed, ever. It was 0-135 was the 16 seeds record against number ones, 0-135. So UVA, the number one overall team in the NCAA tournament, was playing UMBC, the number 16 team, ranked number 16 team, who just got in because they just barely won their championship game. They won at a buzzer beater at the end of the game. They won their championship game there. And this made me excited. First time ever in history, a number 16 seed beat a number one. And it just so happened to be UMBC in my backyard. Well, not literally, it's a little bit further down the road, but it's there. It's in Baltimore County. I'm in Baltimore County. Beat the number one overall team in UVA. Probably 70 to 80% of the people who do these brackets probably pick Virginia to be the national champions. They didn't make it past the first round. No number one has ever lost in the first round, ever, until last night. So now they're 1-135. So UMBC gets to play a game tomorrow. Hopefully it's not going to be a fluke. Hopefully they'll be able to beat whoever this team is, and you could look at them as a Cinderella, like another one. There was Loyola University Chicago, which is a 13 seed, has won their second round game, so they're on their way to the Sweet 16, which is a first. And and that's what's great about the NCAA tournament, is you never know what's going to happen. There's always big upsets, stuff like that, but never ever in the history of the NCAA tournament has a 16 seed beaten a 1. It happened last night, and it just so happened that it was UMBC, a school in my backyard, beating UVA, a big school, number one overall. So it was impressive, and I wanted to give them a shout out because I thought that was really kind of cool. So awesome job. So good job, UMBC. Hopefully you'll win tomorrow, and you can make it to the Sweet 16, and you can continue Cinderella season. So we'll see what happens. All right, what's next? Probably not going to talk about that because I'm not really that interested in it. So whoop, I'm going to cut that out. Plus, I'm getting really tired, which is funny. I've only been on for about an hour and a half, and I'm already feel like I'm drunk. Getting home, not. I've only had one beer. Lightweight. Okay, we'll talk about movies now. 2 big trailers dropped this week. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 2, which is now known as Fantastic Beasts and the Search for Gilbert Grindelwald or something like that. That trailer dropped. The first one dropped this week. And then yesterday, Avengers Infinity War, which is the most anticipated movie of the year, dropped their second one with more footage and a better idea of what the story was going to be. They released a teaser already that was about a minute and a half long, maybe 2 minutes long, and you got your first taste of what was going to happen. And it was great, and it was awesome, and it was cool. Yeah, it is going to my head, Scott. It feels like I'm like, oh, what is going on? So both of them dropped this week, and I'm just going to give a quick review of both of them. Fantastic Beasts dropped first, so I'll mention that one first. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is like a spin-off of the Harry Potter movies. So Harry Potter is still fairly popular. And the first movie, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, was written by J.K. Rowling, who created the Harry Potter and wrote the Harry Potter stories. She wrote this movie of her own idea, and it was hugely successful. And it was a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot. My wife still hasn't seen it yet, which is disturbing because she likes the Harry Potter movies as well. And I'm surprised she hasn't seen it. I saw it in the movie theater with my daughter because I think it was during a camping weekend when Noah and Dawn were out, and we wanted to go see the movie, so I took her. And so Noelle and I saw it, but they haven't seen it yet. I liked it immensely. So I was excited for the sequel. They announced it was going to be 5 movies, so this is just the second of 5. So we get the first look at the new movie, and again, it was what you expected. It was awesome. You got to see some of the Fantastic Beasts. You got to see more of Newt Scamander and the other characters from the movie. You got introduced to some new characters who are going to play a big role in it. You got some surprises from some surprise people who you thought were dead, who survived the first movie. You got a quick look at just what the feeling of the film is going to be. And you got the first look of Jude Law as young Albus Dumbledore. And right now, if you read some of the comments on the internet right now, there are a lot of women who are like, "Oh, I want to go to Hogwarts now just to be under that professor." This pun that under sexually, but also under because he's going to be. Never mind. So with that, there have been a few little issues with it. The fans, I guess, are screaming a little bit about it. 2 things. One was one of the scenes has a lot of members of one of the magical governments, probably the Americans, apparating onto the grounds of Hogwarts. Now, it's been mentioned in the Harry Potter movies that you cannot apparate onto the grounds of Hogwarts. It's against, they need to protect it. There's all kinds of spells and stuff like that to keep it so that, bad guys don't just pop up in the middle of school, or kids who didn't get their tickets pop in because they can or whatever to try to do something. They don't want that to happen. But it happens here. So everyone's like, "Oh, look at that. It's a plot hole. What's the matter with you, J.K. Rowling? Don't you know your own work?" And all I got to say to that is, I don't remember anywhere in any of the movies or even in the books that said you could never, ever apparate into Hogwarts. at any time. It says you can't now, in the case of when Harry Potter took place, but Fantastic Beasts doesn't take place during the Harry Potter time. It's about 50 years before, 60 years even, if you think about it. It's like 60 to 70 years before the events in the Harry Potter movies. So how do you know that maybe this event or something that leads to this event, or maybe something that happens after this event in the 1920s, 1930s, is what causes the rule of no apparitions onto the grounds to happen? How do you know? You don't know until you see the movie. J.K. Rowling is the type of person who really doesn't mess up when it comes to continuity stuff and history and how Hogwarts works, stuff like that. And I think in this case, it didn't say that no one was ever allowed to apparate onto the grounds. Maybe they were able to at one time, but something happened that caused them to say, "Hey, whoa, wait a second, we got to change the rules." That happens to everything. If something bad happens over here, you need to change the rules to make sure that bad thing doesn't happen again. So maybe that doesn't happen. So just relax there, people. The other thing is that Richard Harris and Michael Gambon, who played older Dumbledore, gave him more of a Irish accent, whereas Jude Law's accent of Dumbledore is more English. Also, there was another thing about, they hope that there's like a 20-year gap, 20 to 30-year gap from Fantastic Beasts to when Dumbledore meets with Voldemort when he was a kid, where he looked like young Michael Gambon. Over here, he doesn't look like young Gambon. He looks like Jude Law. They say, well, I hope he's able to fit, he doesn't quite look like them, so hopefully there'll be some sort of way to show that, Dumbledore is starting to look like, this guy when he had this happen in the past in the 1950s. So we'll see. Those are the two big things about that. But in the end, I liked it. It looked good. I liked the movie also. A lot of people didn't for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. However, it wasn't quite as good as the Avengers Infinity War trailer. Obviously, that's the most anticipated movie of the year. And we got a little bit more taste of what's going on. We get to see Iron Man's new armor. We get to see him interacting with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We get to see Spider-Man and Doctor Strange together. We get to see something not unexpected, but we were hoping it wasn't going to happen to Loki. It looked like a lot of the heroes are getting hurt. And you get more scenes of Wakanda and Black Panther. And you get to see some Captain America and some Black Widow and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you see some Spider-Man action. You get to see all kinds of stuff. So you get it's a really good show. Even gets a view that you're probably going to get a little bit of flashback into what Thanos was like early on with young Gamora, because there's a scene where there's a little girl who looks like Gamora, little, she's 5 or so, grabbing Thanos' hand and walking with him. So there's probably something to that as well. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's exactly what I'm hoping for that the movie is going to be, and that it's a good story, and the interactions between all the characters is just as good as we think it's going to be. And also the fact that this isn't everything. This is not it. There's one more movie after this, and that's next year. Avengers 4 comes out. We don't even know what the title of that one is yet. So, looking forward to April 27th when this comes out. Or should I do April 25th? Let me explain. When Avengers, the original movie, came out in 2012, the Marvel MCU was still fairly young. There was only 5 movies before Avengers came out, before Avengers in 2012. So what they decided to do to make it a big deal, because everything in this first phase was leading to the Avengers, was leading to this movie in 2012. It was a first where you've seen a bunch of individual characters who had their own movies team up together in one film, and you've gotten to know all of them over these 5 movies. And it made a ton of money. It had at the time, it made the most money in opening weekend. And I think it even hit to the point where it was the highest grossing movie of all time, even beating Titanic. So everyone thought that it would keep that job forever. And everybody thought Avengers 2 was going to wipe it out, but it really didn't. Avengers 2 sort of, it made bank. It still made a lot of money. It just did not have the huge success that Avengers did. This movie, Infinity War, is going to destroy all records, including the Black Panther ones that he's working so hard to keep. I just don't see Black Panther keeping up against the onslaught of Infinity War, which includes all of these, not just the original 5 from the Phase 1, but more characters, including Guardians of the Galaxy, who are hugely loved, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Spider-Man. More characters who've been introduced are now making their way into the movie, and now they're all going to be together in one big movie taking on a big bad guy. This movie is going to be huge. It's probably going to have the highest grossing weekend of all time. It's probably going to be the highest grossing movie of all time. So how do you celebrate it? You do a 31-hour movie marathon. Now, when Avengers, the original one, 2012, came out, they said, hey, why don't we do something special? Why don't we do a movie marathon of all the MCU movie, Phase 1 MCU movies leading to the Avengers? It's 5 movies. Not too bad. They're all about 2 hours, 2.5 hours each. Roughly about 12 hours. No, maybe not. It was 5 hours. About 10 to 12 hours. And then it would lead into the midnight showing of the Avengers. I sat down and thought to myself, you know what? That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I think I'm going to do that. So I took off that day from work, and I went to the movie theater about 10 o'clock in the morning. It started at 11 a.m. and ended just after 2:30 in the morning. During that time, I saw Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, The First Avenger, all on the big screen. And that led to Avengers. And that was it. Now, it wasn't one after another. It wasn't boom, 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 boom. It was boom. And then we had like a 30-minute break period. Boom. We had like a 30 to 35-minute break period. Boom. Like a 40-minute break period. Boom. Another 30 minutes. So we had little break periods in between there. But you had a lanyard you wore, which said then that you were at this movie marathon, so you can go in and out. And because we had these half-hour, 40-minute windows, the movie theater was set in a Main Street type of shopping area up in White Marsh. And so you could go out, and there was a Barnes & Noble there. So one time, once when the movie was over, I walked out of the movie theater. I went down to Barnes & Noble. I looked around Barnes & Noble for a while. I looked around some of the other shops, went back to the movie theater, got in my seat, and about 5 minutes later, boom, the next movie started. I watched that movie. That shut down. I went out, got something to eat, got some fresh air, just hung out, whatever, went to my car, got something, whatever, and came back. Saw the next one. So that was great, and I was happy I did it, and it was a lot of fun. And it was, and the movie Avengers was so great that coming back at 3 in the morning, knowing I had to get up in about 2 to 3 hours to go to work because I didn't take off that next day. I just took off that one day to watch the movies. Was not one of my smartest ideas. Ooh, harp is done. That's good. I felt good because I loved the movie. So now they decided we need to do something big and special for this one. So let's have a 31-hour movie marathon. And part of that 31-hour movies, they're going to show 12 movies. The 12th one being Avengers Infinity War, which we know right now is going to be about 2.5 hours long. So speculation was running rampant. Okay, it's a 31-hour movie marathon. It's going to start Wednesday early morning, and it's going to end Thursday afternoon, 6 o'clock or whatever. 31 hours. That's one day, literally 24 hours, plus 7. It starts on a Monday, or starts on a Wednesday, excuse me, and ends on a Thursday evening. Late, like 9 o'clock is going to end. It's going to start like at 10:30 a.m. on a Wednesday, and then like 9 o'clock, even close to maybe even at 10 o'clock. Maybe be 48 hours. You don't know. 6, 7. It won't be that late because the Avengers Infinity War is going to start at 6. So it's 2.5 hours, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So it's like, yeah, you know what's a 31-hour movie marathon? That might be interesting. You know what? I don't have the stamina for it. I joked to my daughter, hey, you want to go see a 31-hour movie marathon featuring Marvel movies? Yeah, I do. No. I'm not taking you out of school for that. No, I'm not. I'm taking that Friday off, and I'll see the first showing of Infinity War at my local movie theater. I'm okay with that. But a 31-hour movie marathon, and it's 12 movies, one of which is going to be Avengers Infinity War. So the other 11 was speculation. It's like, what are they going to be? Well, we found out. They've decided that what they want to do is, since it's an Avengers movie and they have a lot of different characters, they are going to show all the introductory movies, basically, and then the Avengers as well. So that leads, I think we're going to have Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Avengers 2, Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, and it's possible going to be Ant-Man is going to be in there also because they're not doing any of the sequels. So Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is not going to be in there. The only sequel they're doing is Avengers 2. And then they're doing Civil War for Captain America. They're not doing Winter Soldier. They're not doing Iron Man 2 or 3. They're not doing any of the Thors. They're not doing Ragnarok. They're not doing Dark World. They're not doing Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So I guess in the end that makes sense. To me, I would probably do more movies that dealt with the Infinity Stones because basically that's what the Infinity War is going to be about, is the Infinity Stones. So you're going to need to do Thor, Dark World, and you might want to do a Thor Ragnarok because, it leads into what's going to happen, why the Asgardians are where they are. But they're banking on the fact that the people who are going to do this marathon have seen these movies already. So they're not going to say, you know what, once they see Avengers Infinity War, they're not going to be confused like, who is this? When did Thor lose his hair? How did he get there? If they just watch these other 11 movies, they're not going to be like, what happened to everybody? What's going on? Why is Thor look at the way he does? Where's the Hulk? Why is the Hulk not there? Why is Black Widow's hair blonde? What's going on and stuff like that. They're not going to do that. So, that's an interesting take on it. I guess it makes the most sense because it's going to be your introductory movies to all the main characters that are going to be involved in the story instead of having to set up the Infinity Stone storyline. And you're still going to get some of that in there. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll get some of the Infinity Stone stuff in that one. And really, to be honest, that might be really about it. Avengers, I guess in Avengers 2, you would get the and I guess Doctor Strange also has to do with some of the Infinity Stone stuff as well. So I guess that makes sense. Come on, black and white spider. You just keep popping up like, oh, you done yet? Oh. So 31-hour movie marathon, I think I'm going to pass, people. Yeah, this thing is not, it's just not for me. All right, so what do we got here? It's 11:10, about 20 minutes before 2 hours. Let's see if I can fit what I can in here. Actually, it's a good story. I went to Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania. My sister went to Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania. She's 3 years older than I am, so she was a senior when I was a freshman. One of her friends, who was one of her sorority sisters, was a woman by the name of Saida. Saida Yukolona, I think is her name. Saida was a theater major. So I was interested in theater, and I'd met her a few times when I'd gone up to visit my sister because she was friends with my sister. I mean, in the same sorority also, so of course they knew each other. But she was also a theater person. I was interested in theater, so I talked a little bit about theater, and she came out and did some stuff for us when we did Love for Love, which was my first theater experience at college in my freshman year. And then we were going to do one more show at the end of the year, which was Ides was the main character in it, and I was going to be in it as well. My director cast me in it, but for whatever reason, I was still recovering from the the play I had done, and I was screwing up, so she recast me, put my friend Devin in my place, and had me just work on the outside, helping with, prepping holding the book so that when the actors were doing their rehearsals, if they needed a line, I could read it to them, all that type of thing. So I knew her a little bit, and then she graduated, and she moved up to New York, I think, got some work on Broadway, did some extra work on TV shows that gradually turned into small little cameo roles in TV shows that led to recurring roles in TV shows, and then she would go back to do some Broadway. And she was so good that at one point, years back, when I still subscribed to Entertainment Weekly, they do a year-end issue where they do the best in film, TV, music, and theater, because they cover theater quarterly usually. And so they did like the top 10 best and then the top 10 worst stuff. When they got to theater, that one year, the top play of the year was one that Saida was a star of, and they focused on her because she was outstanding and fantastic, and she might have won some awards and stuff like that. So they enjoyed that, and that was really good because I knew this woman. She had all these accolades, stuff like that. She'd done a bunch of stuff, and she had some recurring roles in TV shows, stuff like that. Well, she just announced this week, I'm friends with her on Facebook, that she has been cast in a pilot produced by Lee Daniels, who was a film director who did the movie about Forrest Whitaker was like the butler to like the presidents or something like that. And also, I think he did like 12 Years a Slave or something like that. I might be thinking of someone else, but Lee Daniels is kind of big in the movie world. And he's doing this pilot called Our People, and he cast Saida in it. It is a comedy about a married couple, old married couple. They've been married for a while, who are from Ethiopia. So they have, these strict Ethiopian traditions that they'd like to follow through with. Sadie's going to play the mom, who's the Ethiopian mom. Their son is dating somebody, I think, from the Midwest, and they're going to get married, and the son is rejecting their Ethiopian ways. So I think it's going to be a focus on African identity, and I think it's a good idea also, considering how good Black Panther's been doing in movie theaters, discussing about African identity as well. But the fact is, she's been cast in a lead role in a sitcom that's going to be on Fox. So I'm very proud of her, and I'm very happy to know her, and she's going to do a killer job, and hopefully it'll last for a while, and she'll be successful. Let's do Check Eye Day real quick. For those who've seen my usual show, every day is literally a holiday, and today is no different. Besides it being St. Patrick's Day, there's some other stuff as well. So I like to read what other holidays happened this year, or on this day. My computer, my phone again is acting a little crazy again. It's at 92% now, so it has been dropping dramatically lately. So I gotta refix this up. So I want to go. It's also running really, really slow for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure I did the Check Eye Day today. So they're on Twitter at Check Eye Day, CheckIday. And there it is. See if I retweet them all. No, they already had the 18th up there, so I'm going to skip that. All right, did I do the 17th? No, I didn't do the 17th. Okay, I'm going to do them right now. March 17th is Campfire Girls Day. Is Doctor Patient Trust Day. It's International Sports Car Racing Day. Is Maple Syrup Saturday. is National Corn Dog Day. Is National Corned Beef and Cabbage Day, obviously. Is St. Patrick's Day. Is Submarine Day. Friday, the 16th, was Black Press Day. Curlew Day. Everything You Do Is Right Day. Freedom of Information Day. Goddard Day. Lips Appreciation Day was yesterday. National Artichoke Heart Day was yesterday. National Preschool Teachers Appreciation Day was yesterday. St. Urho's Day was yesterday. World Sleep Day was yesterday. The 15th was the Ides of March. Absolutely Incredible Kid Day. Companies That Care Day. Dumbstruck Day. Everything You Think Is Wrong Day. International Day Against Police Brutality. International. I had to read this one. March 15th is International Eat an Animal for PETA Day. It's a real holiday. Eat an Animal for PETA Day. National Brutus Day, National Peanut Lovers Day, National Pears Helene Day, Oranges and Lemons Day, True Confessions Day, World Consumer Rights Day. So that's the 15th. So eat an animal for PETA Day is an actual day. So we did with today's. So tomorrow's is already posted because they like to do worldwide stuff. Tomorrow is Supreme Sacrifice Day. National Lacy Oatmeal Cookie Day. Ooh, lacy oatmeal cookies. National Buzzard Day. Really? Buzzards? Ugh. National Biodiesel Day. Goddess of Fertility Day. Nice. Yeah. Hey, baby, you want to celebrate the Goddess of Fertility Day? Forgive Mom and Dad Day and Awkward Moments Day. That is tomorrow's holiday. It's the 18th for those who are watching on delay. So there's that. Oh, I'm at 89% now. Wow, it is really sucking the juice out of this stuff. Yeah, I really do need to get a new phone, I think. So there's those holidays. Again, today is St. Patrick's Day. I've already talked in great detail about what I've done on St. Patrick's Day before. But, you know, just a refresher, I usually watch either what do you call it? Jeez, it's so late I can't even think about it right now. Waking Ned Divine is one of them, and the other is I can't think of the other one right now. But I watch 2 Irish movies usually. Or else I didn't do it today, but you know, it's always fun to watch those. Wear green, obviously. You know, drink some beer, eat some corned beef and cabbage if you like, and go out if you want to. I rarely go out anyway in general. So St. Patrick's Day is really no different. So you know what? I'm getting tired. So I've already gone over everything about this holiday. So we're done with St. Patrick's Day. We're done with Check Eye Day. And this is one last thing. I got 3 viewers now. This could be good. Hopefully you're all kind of like snark alky. In the next couple days, I'm going to make it my goal to spread the word about what I want to plan for Snark Stock 2018. So for those who don't know, I'm a member of the Snark Alex. We're a group of people on the internet where we snark TV shows and movies and stuff like that. It's been kind of slim pickings lately because Sci-Fi hasn't done any of their movies really since Sharknado. But when they do one of these like really bad movies, hell, maybe that Leprechaun movie next year, we can probably snark out on it a little bit. That's what we did. But we've been together for years now, so and we have a little get together where we actually meet each other in real life every year. We try to do it at a different place. We did it at Atlanta last year. The year before that, we did Baltimore. The year before that, we did Philadelphia, and the year before that was the first Snark Stock where we a few of us met at a restaurant diner in New Jersey. So we stayed mostly on the East Coast because, you know, that's where the majority of us, I think, are, and the ones who were at the time the most involved. So my plan, and I've mentioned it a few times before, and man, my battery is just draining. I mentioned it before, and so I'm mentioning it again. I'm planning and I'll get, as I said, I'll send something out in the next couple of days to get people's opinions on it. But I'm planning Snark Stock to be not in the summer like we usually do. I want to push it to the fall because wherever we go, it always seems to be brutally hot during the summer. I'm going to do it sometime in mid-October. And we tried going down to Atlanta to try to get more of the southern Snark Alps in there, and we got a few of them, but not enough to try to dig deeper into the south because it didn't really have the interest, I guess, last year. I mean, it doesn't mean we're not going to go back there sometime. We'll go back. We'll try again in another year or so to get down there, maybe get more of the southern ones. But I'm hoping maybe this one will draw more people out because I've thrown the idea out before, and I've gotten a lot of really good responses from it. I want to do Snark Stock in Gettysburg up here in Pennsylvania in October. Gettysburg is considered one of the most haunted places in the world, and Halloween right around. It won't be at Halloween, but the October, the fall, it'll be cooler, crisper. You'll be more comfortable probably walking around than if it was brutally hot. I got a whole slew of plans. I've already got everything planned out. It's a little bit of everything. I'll give more details later on. But I just want to throw it out there that I will be getting out and talking more about this, and I'll probably talk more about it on the show once I get the word out a little bit. But my plans for Gettysburg, visit some of the battlefields. They have a winery, brewery, and a distillery up there. Visit some of them. They have ghost hunting groups that go hunting at night for ghosts. We can do something like that. And then I'm trying to get a bank of rooms at a haunted hotel that we can stay at as well. I've gotten interest from people out west and down south that'd be interested in doing that. So I'm going to throw a little bit out here. Not that any of you guys are watching it, but you three might be able to spread the word a little bit. And I will be sending something out via probably DM to a bunch of people who I know are always involved in Snark Alex and Snark Stock, and maybe a few other people that I've known when I've thrown the interest out there have said we might be interested in doing that. So I'll throw them and connect them to the story as well. So to be continued. That's my plan. And I'm working on it right now. So I don't want people to think, what's going on with Snark Stock? Now I got an idea. I just need to get it out to you guys and see how you are with it. I wish I felt more up to talking more about other holidays because I would love to do just a whole section about how to celebrate certain holidays. But my mind right now is complete blank. I'm tired. The alcohol probably did something to me a little bit. Not got me drunk, but got me a little bit dazed. And as Scott said also, it's probably this as well. So it is St. Patrick's Day still for another 35 minutes, basically. So on that note, thank you for watching. All of you out there. I had 3 viewers, which is amazing. Haven't had that many viewers in a long time, so thank you all for watching. Scott, always good to hear from you. I know it sucks that you're working overnight, but it is good for me because then you watch my show live and I can see views. I know you go back and watch it later on tape delay, but you seeing it live now is great. So thank you, and thank you the other 2 viewers, whoever you guys were. Thanks for watching. Next week, I don't know. Next week is Community Week, Community Day for Pokemon Go, which I talked about. It's also Palm Sunday weekend. We're getting close to Easter. We'll see. I've been having issues with trying to contact MJ. I'm thinking I might just try again at the beginning of April to get in touch with MJ again. And the list show, I don't have an idea yet for this month. And Jerry's had some problems with her electricity, so I might leave that aside. So it might be a solo show next week, or I might come up with an idea for a top 10 list, and we'll do it then. But other than that, thank you for watching, guys. Watch my other shows, the Comic Haul. I do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, depending, where I show you all the comic books that I bought this week and try to get you all excited about the comics and maybe going out and buying them yourselves. Get to see the artwork, a little bit about the story and the covers and stuff like that. And this little show. So happy St. Patrick's Day. I wanted to probably, let's see, do I have enough time to see if I can do a play out music? Let's see if I can do some play out music. I want library. I don't want my subscriptions. What would be a good St. Patrick's Day song to end on? Let's see. We'll do the road to sky. Ski. Video to play after that. Blah, 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 blah. You can't hear that. No, 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 no. 2 seconds, 1 second, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. This is John Whalen and Ellen Ivers, Trip to Sky, and I'm going to head out. Happy St. Patrick's Day. If you want to hear this song and other songs, go to my YouTube page. I have a playlist list. One is St. Patrick's Day. This is part of it. So I am going to head out now. This is St. Patrick's Day 2018 signing off. Back to normal. Next holiday's Easter in 2 weeks. And then nothing till Memorial Day. Kind of sad.